Hello and welcome back to our 10th episode of the Labyrinth of Thieves Campaign. We are your hosts and storytellers here from Wanderlustdnd, fresh off a level up and ready to get stuck back in. However, as I'm sure any of you who have run a podcast for any length of time will know, that we are bound to have technical difficulties. And we've had smooth sailings so far, but unfortunately, the first half of tonight's episode did not record properly. Now, when we did our sound checks during our break to reconvene, we discovered the problem and quickly fixed it. But, alas, the first half of tonight's episode is lost. So, I will provide a quick recap of what transpired between our wanderers following the end of last game. Episode 9 found our wanderers in a little shop called Spelunking in the Red Light District. Caché, Fenris, Gizmo, and Al went upstairs with the Speaker of Dreams, Sanmei, while Revenant remained downstairs with the mysterious Madame Hessa. Caché plunged herself back into her dreams, coming face to face with individuals from her past, who left more than just physical scars from her time in the war. As this dream quickly turned into a nightmare, Fenris, Gizmo, and Al felt the room grow cold, as an otherworldly presence seemed to join them. Caché was left scarred by this creature, or he who follows, and soon woke to the room with her friends. Downstairs, Revenant, now secluded from the rest of the group, opened up to Madame Hessa by removing his mask, and gained some insight into his future steps. These steps were gleaned by Hessa's connection to two ancient serpents, as she threw the bones for him. In her own words, she said, "All monsters are welcome here," which seemed to bring some comfort to Revenant. When the party met back up, they journeyed to a bathhouse in the Red Light District for some much-needed rest and relaxation. They opened up to one another, learning more about each other's visible scars. However, noticeably absent, once more, was the elusive Revenant. We ended the last session by our wanderers making their way to Caché's home in the Gem Ward and falling asleep or trancing, leaving our players to level up to 8. As morning peeks through the dusty curtains of Caché's abode, the birds trilling their morning tune, one by one our wanderers rise from their restful night's sleep to the sounds of distant rain and thunder. Al and Gizmo rose early to brew coffee, and Caché attempted to cook once more, which didn't go quite well. Revenant joined everyone downstairs and handed over objects he had stolen or won from the night before in the Red Light District. A drinking horn, a few bits and bobs, and useful tools for his party members. No one seemed to question exactly where he acquired such objects, but I'm pretty sure they all knew. Caché informed the party that she had been summoned to the military academy for a debriefing that morning, and they spent some time plotting their day, eating breakfast and chatting. However, noticeably absent this morning is Fenris, who remained upstairs, huddled under her bed, clasping the sword tightly in her hands. And it is here that we fade back in. Fenris. Surprisingly, you fall asleep easier than expected. Perhaps the weight of the long day is finally catching up with you. Or maybe it's something else entirely. You find yourself adrift in dark silence, coolness to the air around you. It is a lonely place at first. Part of you stares out into that darkness, that emptiness, and you recoil from it. Like a cell you long to never be put in again. But another part of you isn't afraid. That part is hungry and waking up. What facets of this dream were keeping you adrift suddenly begin to rush away from you. And Fenris, you are falling. The brilliant blue sky opens out around you, and you're falling straight through the clouds. the air rushing past you, getting caught in your lungs. Panic settles in your stomach. It causes you to reach out, grasp onto anything to pull you to safety. Between the clouds, you see jagged, rocky cliffs and a wild ocean rushing towards you. What do you do?
I will spread out to try and slow myself down.
Okay.
And look around to see where exactly I am.
Okay. You get to a position where you feel like you're kind of spread out, and while you're still rushing towards the ocean below, you do feel yourself slowing a bit. You kind of glance around in this dream and see that you are near enough to a collection of islands, it appears, but in the particular angle that you are in, you're going to go straight into the ocean. And as you see this space rushing up to meet you, you're moments from impact when a thunderous roar echoes from the clouds above you.
I'll look up for the source.
You do. You see a colossal creature peel its way through the clouds. You feel the enormous power behind the wings as silver-purple scales slither beneath you and stop you from falling. You are now on the back of a dragon. Roughly 130 meters wide or so, with wings so expansive you can't actually see the tips. They fade into the clouds around you. You hold on to whatever you can find as the creature kind of evens out, and you feel the powerful muscles flex with each mighty beat of their wings. Careful, Ivor-Liron. Stray too far from my side and you may fall from the sky.
Hearing that, I will look down over myself to see if something is different.
Okay.
And if I recognize the dragon.
Okay. The voice that you hear, it's simultaneously a low, rumbling growl beneath you, but also a voice in your mind. Very familiar to you. You feel an instant connection that this is Silverlight. But you are different. You glance down and you notice that there's a pale violet to your complexion. Long, delicate elven fingers strapped in crisp black gauntlets. You wear extremely light breastplate, crafted from metal you don't recognize. Delicate engravings of gold and silver on a very masculine body. You can see actually a jumble of strange geometric shapes on the front of the breastplate. Kind of equations or symbols that you don't recognize immediately. The beating of the wings lifts you further into the sky. And you hear once more Silverlight. We fly to war, my champion. Our forces gather in Mullingar before our siege commences. Grio IX plans to put an end to the self-proclaimed queen and her lies. She has poisoned these lands and its people long enough. And Fenris, you feel a strange tension in your belly from the individual you embody. A feeling of fear and regret.
Where is she now?
As you say this, your voice is drowned out by the mighty roar from above. Breaching through the clouds, you see a second dragon, one that nearly dwarfs the one you ride. A mighty beast with multicolored scales, red, white, black, green, and blue. There you are, filth! A rageful feminine voice rockets through the air around you, and you feel Silverlight twist to protect you. The second dragon sinks their teeth into her neck, and Fenris, you feel tearing pain surge through you. Both beasts begin to fall out of the sky. I need you to make an athletics check for me, please.
Using my own skills?
Yes.
It's a 23.
23. Okay. You stay on. Cling on to the back of Silverlight with your chosen weapon. You unleash rounds of silver-tipped arrows into the 5-scaled dragon. Silverlight roars in agony beneath you, and you feel the second dragon begin to claw for you on her back. Go, champion! You must make it to the others! Silverlight shouts at you, and you feel as she throws you off, as the second dragon tears into her chest. You feel terror rush through you as you fall away from her body. Once more feeling yourself dive through the air. Between the clouds, you see the two titans entangled, spits of astral fire raining down from above. And as the ocean rushes to meet you, Fenris, you seem to recognize those islands. The jagged cliffs, the crystal shining beaches. It almost looks like Avasha. Moments before impact, you feel the armor constrict around your torso. You close your eyes as you hit the ground. Fenris, you jolt awake. Once more in the upstairs room of Caché's townhouse. You are covered in sweat. And you see the blade glowing beside you. What would you like to do?
I am going to unsheath the blade.
Okay. You do so.
And look alongside it to see if any of the runes are glowing.
While there are a few runes you know of etched into your blade, it almost seems as if the outer section of the sword is glowing slightly. These runes that you see are not yet awakened. You hear a voice creep into your mind. Those memories are faded and disjointed. Feels like a lifetime ago.
It felt so real.
I wish I could remember more. But this form constricts us, binds us to this thirstful blade. I wish I could show you more.
It gives me time. So I will find something. I'll find a way to help.
Presence. Not leave, but become less overbearing. You are still underneath the bed. You can just hear the sounds of the voices of your party downstairs, drifting up through from the staircases.
Okay, and you will fondly touch the blade and resheath it.
Okay.
And roll out from underneath the blade up. get my armor on, and head downstairs.
Perfect. You make your way downstairs. Find the rest of your companions eating and discussing their plans for the day. I think, so you are all splitting up a little bit. Is there anything you discuss before you head your separate ways?
I suppose, what time are you due to be finished your meeting, Caché?
How long usually does the protocol last?
You've not really been in the situation that you're currently in, Caché. You don't really know.
Couldn't tell you. I suppose I know where you're going. If it's early, I can catch up with you.
Well,
Magic.
if it's not early, then maybe we can meet at the library.
Sounds like a plan.
Always love a trip to the library.
Absolutely. We'll spend our afternoon at the library.
Didn't know you're so fond of books.
Well, I have some new information to find.
That's very true. I hope you succeed.
Yes, and that's related to the dusting you were doing with your feet earlier. That
The what?
the dust you cleared out, walking back and forth. Thought you were going to leave a scorch mark after a
Oh,
while.
yes. Not on my mind.
Go ahead.
Although if you could think in the kitchen, because to be honest, it needs a clean.
Yes, well, depends on what I'm thinking about. Looking forward, you know.
So,
Try not to look backwards.
do you pace in different rooms depending on what it is that's on your mind?
I merely picked one within a wide open space.
Ah.
Seems logical.
Not much of that in the kitchen.
You don't want to be running into walls when you're pacing.
Knocking frying pans and pots. Doesn't really set
Very
the mood.
distracting.
Yes, well, if I tend to pace while also initiating a musical number, I should try the kitchen.
Although it might help if you're trying to be frustrated, you know.
Speaking of mood and to help with frustration, I got these and I put out the 5 scented candles.
Brilliant. Beautifully, intricately designed candles. They're like little pillars, basically about that size. And they smell really nice. You, Caché, you recognize them from Waxy and Delight's little market stall.
I'll hand them over to Caché. Sorry, I know it's kind of a bit after the fact, but a bit of a housewarming gift.
Oh, thank you. I won't take it as you think my house smells.
I walk away.
Okay. So, before the break there, I had Caché and Revenant roll, and then Al and Gizmo roll and Fenris roll for who was going to go, and it was Caché and Revenant, so we will start with you two.
Woo.
Heading off from the townhouse. It is not a very long walk. Caché, you know, they obviously set you up pretty close to the academy itself. It is located towards the edge of the gem ward. The military academy is nicknamed the Red Hall because it is red. That's a really, that's the easiest, simplest explanation. Give me 1 second here. Oh, I thought I had it up. 1 moment, please. Oh, I do. There you go. Sorry. Did it pop up there for you?
Yeah.
Lovely. Revenant, as you follow Caché, both of you begin to approach the academy. It is a grand and spectacular structure. It looks like it could have been almost a stronghold, and Caché, you do know that this was actually a stronghold during the war. Heavily fortified, and now the heart of Manira's defense area of the city. It is now a symbol of strength and power in Avasha. The academy is where many young minds are trained and continue to protect the city and the surrounding areas. Is there anything you two do before, as you guys are approaching?
I will turn to Revenant and just try not to get me in any trouble. I think I'm in enough of my own.
I will be on my best behavior.
I
Do,
appreciate that.
however, wish to visit the records if it's at all possible.
I think I should be able to get you some access at least.
Perfect. It'll be not even here.
Sorry, you broke up there a little bit.
But it will be like I'm not even here.
That's usually what it's like when you're around. You tend to have...
It's good at blending.
That's an understatement. Alright, shall we get in?
Let's.
You approach the military academy, and Revenant, you actually do notice too, as you're kind of come into the space near and around this building, it is very clean. There is a very large, kind of like fountain-esque set right in front of the building itself, with just it's a very proper, very militarized, very set, put together place, and you actually kind of feel yourself almost straighten up a little bit as you come into this space. And Caché, you are wearing your full military garb, correct? Okay. So as you two approach the main front door, you do see two peacekeepers on either side of the door.
I will scooch the two of us past very quickly.
Okay. They do seem to kind of follow you as you go, but with your military uniform, they do not seem to do. Entering into the main lobby, you see a grand structure of a way, basically setup of this building itself. There is 4 doors, 2 on either side of you when you first enter, and then 1 double door, so it feels like 2 doors, leading into what, Caché, you know as kind of like the museum-esque area. But 2 individuals greet you here in the lobby. They are dressed in kind of technician uniforms, and they both, one of them lifts up their hand. Sorry, ma'am, new regulation. I do see that you've brought in a guest, but we can't just let anybody walk the halls anymore. Who are you here to see?
I am here to see, 1 second, let me get that. Silfaras?
Ah, brilliant. So you have an appointment then?
I do.
Kind of goes in and begins to look at the records.
Come on, full rank.
Not yet.
Way there, Fenris. You're not here.
In my head. Fenris, stop!
Just a disembodied voice about what traders would say.
These individuals kind of pull up a clipboard, almost slide it over. Just go ahead and sign in there, just so that we can keep track of who's coming and going.
I'll sign my name.
And you. Looks to you, Revenant.
And I'll just sign my name on the paper.
They kind of look at your name, look up at you, Revenant. Look at the name. Okay. That's done. I will let Zilfra know that you have arrived. I do believe that you will be meeting in the debriefing room which Marios here will escort you to.
My friend here would like to have access to the public records.
Yes, the records are actually near the debriefing room, so yes, just go and speak to the librarian there, and I'm sure they will be able to give you some access at least.
Thank you very much.
Good day.
Thank you.
One of them begins to lead you to the right first. You head down a very long, narrow, and like white painted hallway. It's very kind of bland and kind of just simple as you're walking through this hallway. It continues up, and they lead you into a waiting room where basically you can either go into the waiting room or you can go into the record room. You do see there's a few I don't want to call them guards, but there are a few like technicians walking around, uniformed individuals that are just kind of keeping an eye out. This is quite a fortified area, so you do see people walking around, keeping an eye out. They kind of look at you. They give you, a salute to their Caché every time that you're kind of coming around. But yeah, you can. There's a records room off to the right. There's also then the waiting room or the debriefing. Where would you like to go first?
I will make sure that Revenant gets sorted for what he needs in the records room first before I head away to my meeting.
Okay. Cal, briefly, purple-skinned tiefling woman who is the secretary, who kind of dictates the records room. You see her sitting there with her half-moon spectacles on her face as she is in the records room at the moment.
Hi.
Hello, you're back! How was your time away?
More stressful than I would like.
It's not good, Caché. You're supposed to be on holiday.
Unfortunately, murder inside the airship. Nothing I could do.
It's all the buzz right now. Everybody's talking about it. Well, what can I do for you?
My friend here would like access to the public records. Need a bit of research.
Have they been cleared to get such access? It's a bunch of paperwork now, Caché. You should know this.
And I whip it out.
Okay. Go ahead, roll deception check for me.
What's my deception? Please tell me it's good. Oh, it's a +6. That's not bad. That's a 14.
14. Okay. She kind of looks at the paperwork. Sloppy. Not everything is fully filled in. You're lucky you're charming. You can give him access to a small bit, but you know everything else is sealed. Do you understand that, correct?
Of course. You are the best.
Good sir, what are you looking for? What can I help you with?
I am looking for some personnel files, actually.
Anyone in particular?
A Lieutenant Arrow.
Oh, yes, okay. Give me a moment here, and I'll see what I can find. She'll kind of swing away on her chair and continue to kind of disappear into the records room for a little bit.
Turn to Caché while she's gone. And would you like me to accompany you for your debriefing?
I don't know if you'll want to see it. It's probably me just getting given out to, but if you'd like to, you're more than welcome. They may kick you out.
Debriefing, is it about the murder on the airship or something else?
We'll have to wait and see. I'm just as much information as you have at this stage.
Would it be about what happened on the stalled up pull?
Sorry, you broke up?
Could it be about what happened on the Sol de Polaire?
How do you know that name?
Well, your records are public.
Sure.
Most of them.
No, that case is closed.
Do you mind asking what happened?
Too many people died, but in the end we won. That's all I can say here.
Was that before or after you were cursed?
4. Maybe even during.
You think you were cursed because of what happened?
If I had my full memory of it, maybe, but just flashes and dreams right now.
Curious, because that was to be my next question. You remember your life before you were cursed?
I do.
It's interesting.
I remember my mother, my father. That's why I continue to live the life I did beforehand.
Because you see, you remember nothing from beforehand.
Sorry, say that again?
I remember nothing from beforehand. And I'll remove one of my gloves and just like put it slightly so Caché can see my hand.
I will quickly pull you around a corner or something.
Yeah, at that
Yeah.
moment, two technicians go past the door, kind of glance in, give you a salute, Caché, and continue.
I have to admit, I had my theories that seem to be proven right, but not here. Dangerous.
Oh, back on.
I appreciate
Yes,
you.
well, it was proving difficult to get you by yourself.
You... Are you followed by the same? By the hound?
No. No, I've seen...
You're created differently from me, then.
It seems...
Yes. The result is very similar. I think we should probably discuss it outside of here, though. This is a dangerous 4 walls for these. We're very, very persecuted in this area.
Yes, I'm well used to that. So, to discuss something else then, do you know this Lieutenant Arrow?
Do I know?
Roll me a history check.
Come on, dice. 12.
You've heard of him. You don't know much about him, though.
Briefly in one of our history classes years ago.
No, sorry. I should say you know that he's an active server. Like, he would have served.
Oh, okay.
And he's probably somewhere in the military academy. You recognize the name that way. Sorry, I should have been more clear.
Oh, so he would be, yeah, so I know he's in this building,
Yeah.
even.
Yeah.
Okay. He should be somewhere around here. Do you need to find him? Locate his offices.
That depends on what his records turn up for me.
Fair enough. But just so you're aware, a lot of things can be heavily redacted in these records. I don't know how much you actually gain.
I'm very aware of how much can be redacted.
I'm gonna let that one slide.
At this point, the Cal does return around the corner. She kind of peeks around. It was Lieutenant Arrow, correct?
Yes, Lieutenant Arrow.
Pulls a file from out and kind of brings it towards you. It's a very thin file. I'm actually surprised. Usually, Anyway, and she kind of starts flipping through, and she goes, "What exactly are you looking to glean from our lieutenant here? Do you know him personally?"
We are all acquaintances. Do you mind if I take a look?
Deception check for acquaintances. I'd almost say an advantage because of the mask, but...
the 19 plus 4 is 23.
Okay. Says you say it so convincingly. She's... I mean, I don't know what you're gonna really glean from the... It's... Okay. And she kind of hands... Especially with Caché standing right beside you. She hands over the file to you. You see the name Lieutenant Arrow.
I'll quickly flick through it and see if there's any interesting information that I might acquire.
Glean from it. You do see familiar records that you've found already in the library. Male Fire Genasi. You do find that he served aboard the Emerdral, which is a ship, and was stationed in Manira following the peace treaties. Was assigned to a crew dedicated to rooting out a Avasha threat in the city. Even did some undercover operations straight after the war. Mainly up in the northern city of Clera-Liron, which is up north, far north, but has returned now. Recently refused a promotion to Air Colonel. And the very last note in this, there is obviously portions that are redacted because this is the public kind of record. But the last kind of entry, the most recent entry I would say, you see Lieutenant Arrow relocation orders under title sector redacted. Quote, Genesis. Quote.
Right.
In these documents, though, you do also find the office number. So his office is 261.
Awesome. Yes, so I'll hand the records back over and be like, oh, that's perfect. It's pretty much exactly what I expected to see.
Brilliant. Glad I could be of help. She takes the folder, immediately glances through it to make sure all documents are there, and then closes it.
I had thought about stealing something. Oh, no, I said no.
She knows. She's sneaky. She knows the snakes. So she quickly looks through it and kind of, gives you both a nod. And is there anything else I can help you with? And she kind of puts it off to the side.
Unless my friend would like something, I think we're okay.
No, I've everything I need. Thank you very much. You've been more than helpful.
Dear, well, if you're anybody with Caché, I just, think it's good. It's good to see her have some friends.
Indeed.
You make him come out like I have none.
I mean, you don't, dear, but...
You have to point it out. Are we not friends?
We are, but we work together, so it's just, and as she's saying this and kind of getting a little, flushed in the cheeks, you do hear, Air Colonel Caché, good you've arrived, and Zilfra is standing in the doorway.
Oh, hi, another one of my friends, I see.
Friends.
Revel shared a look with Cal when he says that. I'll be like, this guy.
Revenant, you see a half-elf woman, very, very short, almost kind of like pixie purple hair, shaved on the sides. Kind of a... She embodies her namesake. That's the best way I can say it. She just seems almost like she's floating. She is just very, very graceful in all the movements that she does. And she is holding currently a very large clipboard and stack of documents in one hand. And doesn't seem to smile very much. Very, very hard face. I see you've brought a guest. Well, he can wait in the waiting room. Are you ready?
Ready.
Good, let's go. Leads you into across the hall, basically, where the waiting room is. Immediately brings you into the debriefing room. Caché, you've been in here before. Probably the most weird part of it is that there's just no windows, so it's just all the kind of flickering bit of the arcane light that comes from the light sources in this building. Big, long wooden table in the center. No decorations, nothing, really that makes it stand out. It's just a very simple room. And she sits down with you. Barely makes eye contact with you, but begins to kind of scan over the clipboard. Revenant, what are you doing, just so that I know? You are currently alone in the waiting room.
Ooh, I was left alone inside a military academy. Oh,
Yeah.
this is time cause mischief. Go in the room and talk.
At least you waited like 3 seconds after I left you before you
Wait, so you're going
decided
back into the records room?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I will leave you. So you're gonna go back to the records, and I'll leave you there for now. I'll do this first with Caché. So, Caché, Silfra is sitting across from you again, not really looking at you, looking more at the reports.
And is that odd?
A little bit.
Ugh.
I assume you've completed your paperwork, Caché.
I have,
Really?
and I will present it.
Very good. House Eltane have nothing but praise for everything you did for them, defending the children from the radical. You'd think our great city had been through enough. Now the ambassador of peace has been murdered in cold blood by a group of anarchists. She begins to kind of skim your report.
Unfortunately so.
Tell me, how did she escape? This Enya.
She had a hidden weapon. Attacked the guards that I left. And jumped.
Are you saying you do not check her for hidden weapons?
I'm saying I missed one.
Unlike you. But it happens. I understand. Continues to look over the paperwork the report, in a uncomfortable silence. She leaves in the room.
I don't know if I can still sweat, but...
It's just beads of shadow. Just
yeah.
This group you're discussing in your report. These are their names.
Correct. You met one outside.
Ah, and which one was that?
Revenant.
Revenant. It's a note of it. Big sigh. Puts the paperwork down. Gilead has insisted that he lead the search for the rebel. He's convinced she is dead. He's unconvinced that she's dead. What do you think?
Can't see how she survived, but if he wants to waste his time, let him have it.
He's very good at wasting time recently.
And wasn't he?
Caché, you have a right to know. Gilead has filed a report against you, questioning your competency. He is calling for your immediate dismissal. And I won't lie to you, the Soul Brigadier is listening to him. After the incident with the award ceremony and the inconsistencies, the antisocial behavior, and now this, it is starting to add up. However, I have convinced the Brigadier to meet with you personally and give you a chance to explain yourself. Is there anything you need to tell me before I take you to him? Anything about this situation that you may have left out of the report?
I don't think so. I think that was quite a thorough report.
Out of Zilfra at the moment. Caché, is there anything you didn't put in this report?
I kept it I would have kept it consistent with with the story that we would have told the constables.
Okay. Lovely. I do believe in with the constables, there was a few things that were left out.
Mm-hmm.
So I do need you to make a deception check.
Come on, dice. Oh, way better. 19.
She watches you very carefully. You are... She does this quite a lot to you. Like, you very rarely can hide much from her. But she watches you through the whole process. And, again, long silence happens. Very well. Gathers her paperwork. I will, bring you to the Soul Brigadier, then.
Yes.
She stands and begins to lead you outside. Handing over Revenant.
Yes.
Which are you heading over to see Cow kind of... Oh, you're back! Where's... Oh, yes, hi!
Hi. Unfortunately, Caché was called into a meeting and I was not permitted entry, so I thought what better way to spend my time than talking to the lovely tiefling that works in the records.
Oh dear, aren't you? Well, what can I help you with then?
I was actually wondering how long you know Caché.
Well, I started here in the middle of the war, probably about 6 years ago, so I've known Caché off and on. Air Colonel Caché, sorry, I should be using...
Yeah, sorry, we should be using the proper titles.
Yes, probably. We talk so much off and on, you know, and head over to the Wayward Bliss once in a while, so it feels like a friendship, and I should remember how she served us and helped in the war, so...
Yeah, see, we are only very new acquaintances.
Very good.
I was just wondering if you could tell me a bit more about her. She seems quite reserved and unwilling to share a lot.
She does keep things very close to her chest, yes. I would have to almost assume that it has some, you know, to what she experienced in the war, you know. It's a lot for a young woman to go through. You can understand.
She doesn't talk much about the war.
No, I don't think any of us really do. It's almost like a put it behind us, really.
Oh, you can't just run from your past and hope it goes away.
It's true, but many people here do try. But I think Caché recently deserves a break, like many of us. But I think the higher-ups are starting to see that, and they've asked her to take some time. Not in a bad way, just to, you know, she deserves a break. She's been working all her life.
Yes, yes, she started in the military quite young. Rose through the ranks fairly quickly from what I understand.
Yes. Yes, she did. She was, very well liked, from what I can tell, what I hear, stories-wise.
Yes, there's... she is from a military family after all, you know. It's in her blood.
Is she? I didn't know that. I don't tend to look at the records, you know, unless I'm permitted to or need to. But I didn't realize she had family in the military before.
You've never been curious to just check in on your friends' records?
I mean, I feel like that's private, you know.
You could learn something that would help you understand them better. Maybe get a sense of who they are. Go on, a little luck won't kill anybody.
Go ahead and roll me a persuasion check.
That is a 17.
small peek, I guess. But, hold on a moment. She'll dart away. And start rummaging through things.
Revenant will just look around, chuffed with himself.
She comes back with a bigger folder than Lieutenant Arrow's. And she kind of sits down. She goes, "Now, I would be honest, I don't feel quite comfortable just handing it over, especially if you said you're only acquaintances. For now."
That's perfectly understandable. Yes.
I understand. Okay, and she begins to kind of thumb through it a little bit. And, what are you trying to do here?
Oh, I'll be looking to try and find out the name of the name of the colonel from the airship.
Yes. Okay. I would say roll me a perception check. Yeah, because you don't have it in your hands. So.
That's a natural 1.
Oh, okay. You see from kind of where you're at. Interestingly enough, a lot of it is redacted still. You do see the name the Salto Polaire. You don't catch the air colonel's name. But you do see very similar kind of records to what you saw publicly already. But with a lot more like heavily redacted information.
Okay.
So that's the biggest thing you see.
Do I see her father's name and point it out to the record keeper to Cal and be like, "There, his father or her father." There's then.
I'd say so, yeah, because that's pretty simple info that you can get from the records. But yeah, you do see Caché's father's name in the general title before it.
I'll point that out to Cal and be like, "Her father served in the military for quite a while."
Wow, it's quite impressive. I mean, it must run in her blood. That's why she's so good at what she does.
It would seem so.
It's a lot of strange inconsistencies, and there appears to be pages missing. And she's kind of going through, and even though it was a natural one, what I will say is one thing you do notice is that you see pages missing. They go for like 1, 2, 7, 10. They skip a few, so she's kind of pointing that out too.
Is that? I assume that's not common. Who would have access to remove pages from someone's records?
That seems a bit odd, but of course, I've only been here for a few years. It could have been something that happened before. I'll check into it though. That seems very odd. Hello, Vito. Begins to kind of pull the folder a little bit closer to her. Kind of sees a few things with your passive insight and everything. You see that she's kind of reading through things, and her eyes kind of get a bit bigger and a bit wider, and she kind of closes the folder quickly and kind of, really, you should be getting back into that waiting room. Hopefully they'll come out for you shortly. We'll be waiting too long.
Yes, sure. Thank you, Cal. It was an absolute pleasure speaking to you, and I hope we get to spend more time together soon.
I hope so too. Hopefully you'll drop back by with Caché, and do keep an eye on her. And,
Of course. Goodbye. And I'll walk back out to the waiting room.
Okay. As you do, as you're coming in the door, Caché, you come out.
Hi, Revenant. I just going meeting someone else. I shouldn't be too much longer.
I'll wait right here.
Thank you. I'll see you in a while.
Caché, you follow Zilfra up the stairs that are nearby, and you head to the 3rd floor of the military academy. It's not a very long walk, but it is probably one of the largest offices. You do know the 3rd floor is usually strictly kind of made for offices, so you do kind of see where you would usually have a office set aside for you that has been given to someone else for the time being. They explained that to you. You know that during your sabbatical. And but Zilfra leads you on. Is there anything you discuss on your way?
Just keep it breezy, I suppose. Try not to discuss anything too important because, shitting myself.
Okay. Okay. Zilfra definitely is listening, but not. She seems to be quite distracted with things. But leads you to the Soul Brigadier's office door, and kind of stands outside it. Best of luck.
Thank you. Hopefully, I'll be seeing you again.
I'm sure I will. Kind of gives you a brief salute and heads away towards her offices.
I give a knock on the door.
Okay. You hear a "come in" from inside, and you can open the door easily enough.
I open the door and salute.
Okay. Office hasn't changed much since the last time you were in here. It desperately could use a new paint job. The walls are stacked with old bookshelves. Even the top of the shelves are covered in more books. So it's just very, very not messy, but it could use some work. The rug is centered kind of a little bit off to the side there, and positioned where you see the big desk. You do see the Soul Brigadier, Mara DeLong. You would know him as. He is a dwarf with kind of graying long hair, braided back. He is currently staring out the window, and you do know that is looking out over the training grounds. His hands behind his back, and he is beard is perfectly trimmed at this time and shaped and accents his features. He does not turn to you, but you salute.
Yeah, I salute. I go, sir.
Turns slowly. Returns the gesture. Colonel, good to see you.
And
Please
you.
sit. Please sit.
And sit down.
He does not sit. He stays standing. And again, that very formal-esque feel to him. I am sure Zilfra has informed you of the recent predicament. Has she?
She has.
Very good. I won't beat around the bush then. What happened aboard the Silver Countess?
Unfortunately, the ambassador was murdered. I managed to, with the help of some people, investigate and find the murderer. After we had captured her, she had escaped with a hidden weapon that I missed, and jumped off the ship.
Do you know if she survived or not?
I cannot say for certain, but at that height I cannot see a way of her surviving.
It's unfortunate. She could have led us to the rest. You can see that this doesn't reflect well on the military, correct?
I
A
did.
soldier of our renown losing an extremely dangerous rebel capable of vicious acts of violence. One that could have led us to the rest of her organization. Begins to kind of turn and look out the window.
We wouldn't have got anything from her. I interrogated her myself. Got nothing. She was prepared to die.
Prepared to die in what way?
For her cause. For what she thinks is right.
Did you see her have any training, military or otherwise? Could she fight?
I'm just trying to remember. She didn't really use any spells, did she? It was just...
Not that you remember. The only thing you do remember is that she seemed to have a ring.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, she seemed to have magical items and at least somewhat skilled at fighting.
And I'm assuming you have these magical items then. Took them off of her.
Yes, we do. I think they should be at my house.
Very good. You should bring those in.
Of course.
Kind of turns back to the window and it was a big sigh. I like you, Caché. Back in the day, I'd just do about anything to have a platoon of good soldiers like you. But the war changed you. Changed a lot of us, but I'm not sure for the better in your case. What do you have to say to that?
I don't think it changed anyone for the better. We all have our scars.
Well then,
But I'm still capable.
you do realize that there is a petition to have you removed.
I do, but as far as I was aware, there was only one name signed.
At the moment, yes.
That
He has a clear case.
also has been nipping at my heels for years. Just one person who has a grudge against me comes against me. Does that not seem a little bit suspicious?
It is not just this time. You have to understand that. With the award ceremony and all of the other antisocial behavior that we have come across. We ask you to take a leave of sabbatical, and I find you in the middle of this.
I didn't want to be on that airship with the ambassador's murder, but unfortunately, here's where I was put. I would have been happy just to do a simple job on my sabbatical.
Alright. Give me a reason why I should give you a second chance.
Because you know what I can do. Just because something fails a few times doesn't mean you throw away the peace paper, you know? Usually fixable.
Go ahead, roll me a persuasion check.
Oh, nice. It's 21. 22, sorry.
Very well. Consider yourself on thin ice. Do I make myself clear? Keep your head down and do your job.
Absolutely set. Absolutely again.
Report to the Academy grounds at 8:00 tomorrow. You'll be helping train a new batch of recruits.
Of course.
Very good.
Thank you, sir.
Do you turn to go?
I do.
As you do, you hear, and Caché, if I get a whiff or a whisper that you are anywhere near these rebels again, I will dismiss you and strip you of your title. Do you understand?
Absolutely, sir.
Good. On your way then.
We leave.
Okay. While that is going on, Revenant, what are you up to?
How free am I to walk around this place?
Jesus. Roll low. I'd say with your insight into the area, there doesn't seem to be a lot of guards walking, like a lot of the technicians walking around. You'll see once or twice, but you kind of get a patrol idea in your head. You can kind of go like, okay, I have about 10 minutes to go up the stairs if I want to, or something like that.
Like if a patrol sees me, they'll question as to why I'm walking around by myself, kind of thing?
Potentially, yeah.
Okay.
You stick out. You are not dressed like you belong here, and you are currently not with anyone either. So
Yeah. I'll wait for Caché to come back to him.
okay. I'd say you were in there for probably 25 minutes or so. So about 30 minutes pass, and Caché, you find Revenant waiting for you in the waiting room.
Shall we go? I need to get out of this uniform.
Would it be possible to make one more stop inside the academy?
What do you need?
I would like to visit Office 261.
Of course. Is this for our dear lieutenant?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Let's go then. Hopefully he's available to see us.
Okay.
Possible. Yeah, so I'll follow Caché to Office 261.
Brilliant. Okay. Much easier to walk around now.
Yes.
You find that two different kind of patrols do kind of walk by and just salute Caché immediately, and kind of straighten up a little bit, straighten their uniforms, salute, and then Caché continues to walk by, and then they kind of settle back down again. But yep, Caché, you lead Revenant up 2 flights of stairs to the office of 261?
Yeah.
And you do see the name Lieutenant Arrow written on the outside of the door.
I have I don't know, like glance in the keyhole or something to see if he's inside the office.
Okay. You glance inside the keyhole. There doesn't appear to be anybody in the office at the moment, but the door is locked.
I look at Caché and I'm like, you may want to turn your back for a couple of seconds.
Looking around, how populated is this area?
So the lieutenant's offices tend to be on the second floor, and this is also where a lot of the bunks are. Like people come and sleep here, so a lot of the technicians while they're training. So it's pretty barren at the moment. You do see the patrol once in a while, but at the moment they haven't seen them in a little bit, so it's pretty empty here.
Okay, I will kind of loiter on the wall, not looking.
Okay.
But I will give a disapproving look towards Revenant to carry this on.
Okay.
I look back to Caché and I'm like, I promise I will explain all of this, just not now, and then I'll try and pick the lock.
Better not get me fired.
She's doing that already on her own.
I was going to say, you're doing a good job about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, yeah, thieves tools check.
I'm going to keep a look at it as well, obviously.
That's a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. That's exactly.
Dirty
what
20, yeah. Awesome.
And go ahead, roll me a perception check there, Caché.
That is only a 14.
14. Okay. About halfway through, Revenant getting into the keyhole of this door, you do hear footsteps, and you're able to kind of like tap him on the shoulder, and you both just kind of freeze, and the two just walk by in the hallway and continue on their way. They don't walk past you; they're like down a ways, but they like continue further in, and they don't notice you. But the door opens, and you're able to go inside. You both get an immediate... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to turn to Caché and say, you don't have to accompany me inside if you would rather wait out.
Implicating myself further. Don't steal anything.
Revenant walks into the room, closes the door.
Okay. Room is incredibly clean and tidy. actually, as soon as you open the door, both you and Caché get a smell of alcohol. Simple room, single desk with a chair, large bookcase. Desk looks as if someone hasn't really sat at it in a while, but yet there's no dust. What would you like to look at?
I'd like to search through the desk.
Okay, go ahead and roll me investigation then.
Where's my investigation? 16.
16, right. Kind of going through some of the drawers. You find piles of papers, ledgers, nothing really too important, just kind of like general, things that are going on for his work. Mostly kind of records and accounts with the training. So he was obviously very involved with the training of the new recruits. You find quills, ink, fine parchment as well. And the very last drawer the last drawer on one side is locked currently.
Okay, well, I think we all know what I'm about to do.
I figured. Go ahead, roll your check.
It's a natural 20.
Wow. Okay, so you go. You barely even get the tools inside. You just immediately. It's like an old one, so you are able to just quickly, and it just are able to unlock it with ease.
Just do the fawns and just like bang the top of it. It just pops open.
It comes open for you. Because of that action of banging it, you actually immediately find the hidden compartment as well with that natural 20. As the drawer pops open, you see the bottom of it kind of slide to the side, and you find a single pistol hidden in that compartment.
Okay, well, I'm immediately going to steal the pistol.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go through whatever else is in the drawer.
Brilliant. So going through the drawer, there's nothing else actually, but what does catch your eye is the bookshelf. There appears to be kind of some unique titles, and there's a few that look like they've been ripped off and placed haphazardly. There's even a few that their spines are backwards, so it's almost like somebody was looking through these. It's kind of the vibe you get. Okay,
well then, I suppose I will begin to look through the bookcase.
Okay, with your previous investigation check and your other checks, Fran at this point actually kind of like comes off your shoulder and starts kind of rummaging around with the books with you, and you do find pull back one of the spines of the volume, one of the books, and you actually realize that this isn't a book itself. It's actually been hollowed out. After a little bit of digging, you do find that, and inside of this military conduct, you find a collection of details. You find records including a code name Lancer, race bestial, unknown origins, quote unquote dangerous, trained, gender male, stole a powerful artifact from the Gembright Gang. Jeez. Last seen with Ferian Hall, the Clock House, in known Nightingale territory. Trail went dark 3 weeks ago. A lot of people want Lancer dead. He pissed off half of Manera. You can see that scribbled in, like, written notes instead of typed, like on a typewriter. You can see kind of scribbled his own kind of notes into it. And you also see the name Nightingale circled multiple times.
Awesome. I'll take all of that, chip it into my bag, have a quick last look around the office, see if there's anything else of interest.
Okay. You do. Go ahead, roll me one more investigation check just to see how much you get.
18 plus 4 is 22.
22. Okay. Revenant, you, with your previous experience in your history, as you are glancing over everything, nothing else really jumps out to you, but as you are heading back towards the door to meet back with Caché, there is something. Right under the desk, kind of where the chair should be. Where the chair is, but where someone could be. It is not noticeable quite at first, but you follow the scent of the alcohol, and there is quite a large stain underneath the desk. And with your previous experience, it does look like blood.
Okay. I'll ask Fran if she can smell the blood or if she's been overpowered by the alcohol.
Oh, wow, yeah. Fran kind of doesn't leave your arm, but kind of scurries down and kind of gives it a good sniff. And she kind of just looks up to you. Yeah, it's blood. It's old. They didn't clean it very well. Week maybe?
Okay. Right, we should go. I think we've spent enough time in here.
It's a lot of blood, Revenant.
Yes. It's just another question that needs answering.
Okay.
Let's go before we get Caché in trouble.
Okay.
And we'd run back out, close the door behind us, and be like, Caché, we can leave now.
Okay. Back to my house first, get changed, and then we can meet up with the lads.
Yes.
Okay.
And lady.
You successfully go back, or leave the military academy, and we are going to pan over now to the other three. Thank you guys. Sorry about the wait there, but you were very, very good. Is there anything you would like to do before you head there, or are you heading straight there?
Did we decide if we're heading to the library first, or are we going to go there first?
Warehouse first, library second. Cool. We're gonna meet everyone at the library. It's our kind of meetup spot.
Like that. My nose nearly drove in straight up my nose.
Okay. So, it takes you guys probably, because you don't quite know where you're going, you're kind of going off of Caché's directions. It takes you a little bit of time to maneuver your way through the gem ward. But you do kind of are able to find the landmarks and kind of get through. I'm assuming you're working together to kind of find your way. Yeah. Okay. But probably about an hour, I'd say. Again, it's going to take you to get to the West Repair Yard. As you approach, it is a very, very, very large collection of warehouses. You see the main one, which has the West Repair Yard name on the front, does appear to be, it would almost be like a 3-story building, but inside is just gutted. But you can see like high glass windows up at the top. There is not a lot of people walking around that you can see, but there is just a lot of machinery. You can see like half built steam steeds and wagons left off to the side, like, you know, being ready to be brought in and worked on. But it's quite a mess of a place at the moment. Yes. I'll get you in.
See anyone really?
You do. Oh yeah, you do definitely see people. You see workers. You see, you know, kind of people walking around and stuff, but not a whole lot seeming to come out of the main building, the one that says the West Repair Yard.
Okay. Needs vision in this one.
Thank you.
And yeah, I will basically just flag down the first person that's nearby.
Okay. Are you staying outside or are you going inside?
I'll stay at the gate first.
Staying at the gate. Okay. Yeah, so if you're kind of flagging someone down to have them approach, I'd say a halfling man kind of approaches you first and kind of, do you need help? Are you alright?
Yes, I'm from the Starforge Guild. I'm looking for the foreman. Here to investigate your screams at night.
Screams at night? Well, that's a bit odd. Sure, yeah. Head over to there. That's the best place. The main building there. You'll be able to find your foreman.
Yes, thank you.
And it points over again to that really large warehouse. Upon entering this big warehouse, you are met with a rather cold environment. Aromas of hot metal, oil, and grease kind of surrounds Fenris and Al, your senses. Gizmo takes you just a little bit longer for all those senses to kind of come through with the suit. This warehouse is massive, and it's the roof is metal and up towards the top, kind of sloping upwards. It's quite a beautiful space. There's a similar kind of almost arcane glow that kind of comes from this whole space. Immediately to your right, you all see two massive, half-constructed peacekeepers being held aloft by thick chains kind of suspending them. You see a group of workers currently like removing joint parts and gears, and they're just kind of pulling things together. The peacekeepers are these two. One of them doesn't have both legs, so it's hard to tell. One that is pretty much full, it looks at least 11 feet. Maybe
Any
12.
sign of a power core?
Are you going closer?
Yeah, I will probably like just kind of distractedly just sort of amble towards it.
Okay.
And like have
yeah.
a look.
Easily done. You guys can head over there if you wish. So off to your right there is the two big peacekeepers, but also like just ahead of you, you see large conveyor belts that are currently moving with workers working away. You see leg joints, you see arms being rebuilt, fingers being attached. It's a delicate process for some of these workers that are currently doing that. But you can approach the peacekeepers if you wish. One thing you do notice is that people don't really seem to be looking at you as you approach. They seem to be very invested in their work. But are you having a look?
Yes, I'm looking for see if I can see a power core, where a power core would go.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, both of you make investigation checks for me, please.
While they're doing that, I'll look for someone who fishes.
Okay. I'll say you see a halfling woman with kind of blonde hair. You also notice a clockwork prosthetic arm on her. She's currently over by one of the conveyor belts. Seems to have a clipboard in her hand.
Okay, I'll head over to her then.
Okay. You two, what did you get?
13.
23 and 13. Okay. Gizmo with a 23. You almost immediately recognize the outer plating of these peacekeepers is actually constructed from Vernalt steel, which, Gizmo, you recognize is quite rare of a metal to be used because of its ability to conduct lightning. These plates are thick and well, what you can basically tell from just the quick glance over the peacekeepers is that these things look almost resistant to most weapons. Maybe even some magical. Al, what you notice as you approach is you're drawn to the peacekeeper that currently doesn't have any legs attached because the entire chassis is open. And you can see in this chest cavity where an Ethereum core would be placed. And kind of like where it is almost like suspended in the center of this creation. What you also notice is that there seems to be a generating source crafted from Premonton meteorite, which you would know immediately is very good at dispelling magic.
A generating source?
Kind of, yeah. It's almost like it's around the Ethereum core. So it's like that would be something you would need to penetrate through.
Hey.
Mm-hmm.
Very clever design. Almost indestructible, I reckon.
Vernalt steel. We will both like exclaim at the same time, like just.
The design.
2 light bulbs going off.
Yeah. This would have made life much easier for me making this if I had any access to it.
Gotta find these kind of materials. Humphrey would be indestructible.
Especially the Vernot steel, definitely.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't take that as an
Shielded
encouragement to
power
fling him around more, though.
Well, that's not what I was getting at. But I see why you might think that. I meant more, he'd be more resilient to my faux pas.
Abuse.
You have an interesting relationship, that's for sure.
Said I'm trying to be nicer to him, and I'll continue trying to be nicer to him. Gave him a stair lifting mechanism type thing. It's not very good, I'll give you, but
To start, though. I
maybe
suppose.
more mobility before resistance.
I'd say, Gizmo, with your role as well, you do see, especially because Revenant asked you before with weaknesses, you do notice that the joints are less protected. But that core, man, that is heavily protected. And it almost looks like there could be a way, though you can't quite understand unless it was on and you could actually see it working. There even looks like there's a way to be able to absorb and transfer power. Similar, the best way I can describe it is like
Send it
absorb
back.
elements. Yeah, basically like
Yeah.
an absorption and then sending it back. Both of you very clearly see a gaping weakness. Without that core, this thing doesn't work.
Well, if you get rid of it.
Or turn it off, yeah. So, Fenris, you approach the halfling woman. She is busy with what she's doing, but does turn to look at you, kind of a blank look on her face. We weren't expecting visitors today. What can I do for you?
Oh, hello there. I'm here from the Starforge Guild. Since you've lodged a job with him about screams at night, certain issues around the place.
Did we?
Seems
That's
you did.
strange. The first I've heard of it.
Inside check.
Okay, insight check.
It's like, maybe we have the wrong place, so.
This place is great.
Still glad we came.
18.
18. Telling the truth. Seems to be telling the truth.
Okay.
I truly have no idea what you're talking about. Screams.
Yes, at night. I don't know if the workers are here at night, but people have been saying there's odd sounds and screams coming at night.
Does the facility operate during the night, or do you shut down?
Slowly turns her head towards you. There's an odd movement to herself, and you can actually see as she does move the arm, the prosthetic arm twitches. We do operate at night sometimes when there's a need. Yes, a need.
As she turns away,
Seem
from
exhausted.
No, we work to serve Manira.
As she turns away, can I cast Detect Magic?
Okay. Okay. You cast Detect Magic. Eyes flicking over to the dragon slits. There is a thread of arcane magic instantly. You can see drilled what it seems to be into the back of her neck. Of enchantment. as you look at her and look to the next person and the next person and the next person. They all have that same little thread right at the base of their necks.
Any idea where it goes?
Not really. It's hard to tell. It kind of almost looks like it just vanishes into the ether.
Okay.
But she kind of looks to you. Perhaps you should speak to the overseer. Everything is fine here. We're all fine here.
Of course, and not to take up any more of your time, do you mind showing me where his office is?
Of course. He's up there, and she'll point up to what you see now is actually kind of like a sectioned off part of the warehouse with a massive window, as if this overseer can then oversee. But you do see a kind of like a small little rickety stairs leading up to this office space.
Yes. Not sure you misunderstand. Could you bring me to his office?
I cannot leave now, but you can find your way.
Of course. Could you point it out again?
Of course, and she points again up to... It's not too far away, it's about 20 feet.
As she turns around where I can see where the tablet is, can I sneakily cast Dispel Magic on it?
Alright. Go ahead, sleight of hand.
Okay. Okay, start 17.
Okay. As this is going on, Gizmo, Al, what are you doing? Are you still falling over the peacekeepers, or are you with Fenris at this moment?
I think a little bit distracted by the peacekeepers.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I might have started trying to, like, you know, talk to workers, like, kind of see what they're
Okay.
doing and how everything is built.
Brilliant. Okay, so you pop over to one of the conveyor belts.
Yeah.
And the individuals, they look up at you. They kind of seem to stare through you, give you a nod, and then continue back down to work.
Very dedicated.
They do seem very dedicated, yes. And you would notice...
Do I notice?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, yes, sir. Do I notice anything like...
With your
they
passive
seem to be
perception...
building...
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, like, do they seem to be building, like, more parts for peacekeepers? Like, is it... Are they, like, working furiously, or are they working kind of, like...
Yeah, so...
What's the vibe?
Vibe check. Okay,
Yeah.
so if we're doing a vibe check, they're both the same. Your passive perception and your passive insight are very, very high. So I'd say what you get the sense of is exhaustion. Full exhaustion from most of the workers here. You can see dark circles under their eyes. They do appear to be making a variety of different mechanical objects. You can see prosthetic limbs. You can also see like pieces for other types of clock forges. There are pieces for peacekeepers, but a lot of it is just a medley of different items. You even see what comes by on a conveyor belt, like one of the large like steam steeds, like the golden horse head that usually is attached to one of the vehicles of this city. So they just seem to be working on a medley of different items and different objects. But you do get a sense of exhaustion, and the one individual that is closest to you seems to be kind of human descent. Their fingers are currently bleeding as they are working.
You might want to get that dean to... Surely you've got a staff nurse? Hello?
Kind of looks up to you. We're all fine. We're fine
Your
here.
Your hands are injured.
Kind of looks at his hands. As he looks back up at you, Al, you actually notice that he seems to have a prosthetic kind of part to his face. Like his eye was replaced or fixed.
Does it look like it
Kinda
was
accident.
recently fixed?
Go ahead and make me a medicine check.
Okay. It's an natural 20.
Ooh.
Nice.
Very, very nice. Pop into secrets with me.
Ooh.
Haha.
Go.
Well, I've only got one other slot, so I have to see.
I think that's a good use of that one spell slot. You get it back on a short rest, you'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Just
I'll be
sit
fine.
down for an hour.
We can short rest in the library afterwards.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I need to remember as well my spell magic is at 4th level, not 3rd, so we'll see if I need to roll for it now. Warlocks.
So what's the consensus here? They're experimenting on their workers at night time, replacing body parts.
I think the screams is just some weird magical thing, to be honest.
I think the screens are part of some weird worker orgy.
There's some entity.
Theory.
There's some entity involved, like some warlock entity.
Something's
Always
something's
a
digging
warlock
in.
entity.
Yeah.
Yeah, something's digging in, pulling a few strings.
Having
Fenris,
some fun.
Uh-huh.
you wait for this moment for this halfling woman to kind of turn and point once more up to the glass windows where the overseer is. And you cast Dispel Magic?
Yeah.
It's at 4th level now, isn't
it's
it?
at 4th for Warlock spell, yeah.
Okay. You kind of grasp onto the tether, dispel it. You see the end of it kind of unprick from the halfling woman and fade away as the spell, whatever is dispelled.
Okay.
And as soon as this is removed, the person crumples to the floor in a fit of screaming and terror, clawing at the prosthetic limb that is on her arm. No! Get it off! Get it off! I won't become like them! I won't become like them! And it's just filled with screams in this warehouse. And I
I'll
think-
try and, like, hold her down.
Okay. You're kind of over by the peacekeepers at the moment. Are you kind
Oh, that's
of
true.
running
Yeah,
over?
yeah, yeah. So, well, I'll start heading over, like, when I hear them screaming. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And Gizmo, as you kind of go to head over and you're kind of looking at this person just screaming on the ground, you actually watch as all the workers that were near you just slowly turn their heads and slowly begin to make their way towards them as well.
Oh shit.
Put the window.
Oh.
So at this point, I wonder if anybody took sending.
I don't even have that as an option.
Neither do I.
This person is still screaming on the ground, clawing, pulling. You can actually start to see her start to almost tear her own skin, trying to
Yeah,
get
I'm
this
gonna try-
prosthetic limb.
Just hold her down to the ground.
Okay, go ahead and make me a contested athletics, actually, if you're trying to hold her down.
If people start walking, I'm going to put a silent image of a peacekeeper chassis in front of them to see if they walk through it.
Oh, okay. Just a chassis?
Well, it's a broken down workshop, so it's kind of like something that they would have been working on, but they see if they walk around it or if they just go straight through it.
Okay, okay. What did you get for your
11.
11? Oh, yeah, no, that beats her 6. So, and she's also a halfling, so you probably should have gotten advantage. Sorry, but you managed to kind of get a hold on her, and she's not even seeing through you. She looks mortified, and this is a moment, Gizmo, with you so close to this halfling woman, you can almost smell it in a weird way. This feeling of fey chaotic energy. You recognize it coming off of this fear that this person is feeling. But the workers slowly begin to approach, and you all hear the heavy footfalls of an individual coming down from the steps of where the overseer was supposed to be. You see this dwarven male, pale complexion, wiry white hair begins to make his way over. The workers go around your peacekeeper, Fenris. Slowly, they don't approach too close. They're almost just kind of like going and like staring. And the dwarf approaches slowly. No, please, please. You have nothing to worry about. We will take it from here, and begins to approach you, Gizmo, with the screaming halfling woman.
What have you done to her?
Nothing. We'll take care of it. This is all right.
Does this look alright?
She's very tired.
Ah, yeah.
Yes,
when
they
I'm a
all
bit
seem
tired, I
very
start
tired.
screaming and kicking. Are you mental? What
Easy variation.
did you do?
This person's been working with bleeding fingers.
The odd smile on his face. I assure you, I can take it from here.
I don't think so. I'll pull out the note that Revenant gave me. I'm afraid she'll be coming in for questioning. Order of the Constabulary.
Ah, well, at least let me help her,
I
please.
don't want to trouble you any further. You obviously have a very busy day. And as you said, everything is fine. Excuse us. As I'll pick her up.
Okay.
Start working with Gizmo.
So, just as a heads up, this woman is like thrashing, like.
I will then tap Gizmo to say bring with.
Yeah, I'll
That's
try
good.
and bring. I don't really.
Seeing this, I'll, cast momentary stasis on to try.
Oh, okay,
My
there you go.
momentary
Oh,
stasis.
okay.
Perfect.
All right. So she kind of freezes in place. Again, still wide-eyed and looking like she's trying to scream, but can't. And you see the overseer. I understand you're here with the constabulary. There really is nothing to worry about. Why don't you come up to my office and I can answer the questions that you need? Serena here needs rest.
Oh, I'm sure she does. We'll make sure she's very comfortable.
Your detect magic is still up, correct?
Yep.
Okay. You see a thread on him as well. Please,
With them.
come with me. I can explain everything.
Well, I mean, it's more the constabulary, as my friend explained.
Yes.
Two of two explain things to, so we're informing you need to meet with them as soon as possible. And we're going to take this clearly not well person somewhere they can get rest and proper treatment, because your workers don't seem to be getting proper treatment.
Okay, go ahead and roll me a persuasion check with advantage because you've got your people behind you.
Yeah, advantage.
Oh,
Aw.
That's I rolled a 3 and a 4 for a total of 6.
Inspiration.
I don't have it.
Oh yeah.
I think
Both
you
already
used
advantage.
it.
Oh, but I could use my chronal shift.
Mhm.
So
Right
I
there, time
think
wizard.
I should do that. Do I get advantage again?
Oh,
Or do I just get to reroll 1?
ooh. I would
It's
say you
forced
still
to
get
be
advantage
re-roll.
because you get to re-roll, so
Okay.
advantage.
Okay.
I'm gonna roll it that way. If I piss people off, I don't care.
That's better.
This is
That's
the
a,
way.
that's a 16.
A 16. Okay.
Yeah.
The overseer does seem to kind of like nod, and then just basically hold his hand out, and you see kind of like a sedative.
I mean, we'll take this and might use it, but we have our own things, don't worry.
I'll just put a hand on L. It's like, there's a spell on all of them.
I mean, I think it's really time we should be going.
take that sedative though.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
He's holding his
Like
hand
she
up.
would be thrashing again now as well if she's continuing.
I'm
So
gonna-
I've got like
I'm
my momentary
gonna,
stasis doesn't last.
like
that long.
offhand her to Fenris and then
I'll take it because my hands are free at the moment. If both
Okay,
of you
yeah,
are holding
sure,
her, so
yeah.
yeah, I'll
So-
take the sedative.
yeah.
I say you better hold on to her because you're the big hulking metal person.
Yeah.
Well,
Also,
I'm a bit-
she's probably
I'm a bit
thrashing
narrower
again
right
now
now.
because my momentary stasis only lasts one round. So
I'll keep holding.
Okay.
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 I'll lean into Al as well as he goes to go take it. It's like, you may need to move pretty fast after this, so be prepared.
do my best. Brittle ankles, you know.
I can carry you.
Are you carrying Selena?
I
Anyway,
could do other
let's go.
things.
I'm capable. Okay, so in this tense moment with the, I believe, Gizmo, you took the sedative out of his hand?
No, because I
didn't.
was holding on to.
They're both holding the person.
As you, like, kind of the three of you slowly kind of step away and kind of move away, he just continues to hold the hand down. Come back soon. And that's
Wait,
it.
did
You
you take the
come to the
sedative?
guards.
Oh,
I took the sedative.
you
I
did
have
take
it.
the sedative. Okay, just want to
Okay.
make sure that. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's just continuing to hold his hand out.
Ah. Oh, okay. Well,
And I think as the three of you move slowly with, again, a thrashing Selena, still trying to pull at the mechanism that is on her arm, I think we will call it there for the night. In this
Okay.
tense moment, you
Very
can all
good.
decide how you want to handle the next little bit. So thank you all for joining us for this night's episode, and we will see you next time.
Hey, hey. See you again.
Oi!
Right.
Bye.
Goodbye. We're all fine here.
We're all fine here. Nothing's wrong.
Definitely not.
We're all fine here.
Help!